Sarcopenia can begin as early as the age of 40, but it tends to be more common in adults age 60 and older. Welcome to the Success Fitness Podcast. I am your host, Christian Evans. This podcast is for adults who wants to achieve success in their fitness journey, and I'm going to help you do just that. But first, this is for my 40 and up crowd. How are you feeling today? Are you feeling a little bit lethargic? Are you feeling like you just aren't strong? Are you feeling like I'm not as young as I once was, and that great, vibrant feeling? If yes, then I'm going to tell you how you can reverse this aging process and reverse this feeling of weakness in today's podcast episode. But first, a word from our sponsors. Imagine a non-pharmaceutical performance device that can help you breathe easy, reduce exercise fatigue, and shortness of breath, all while improving your cardio performance. It's called the Breather Fit. The Breather Fit is evidence-based, drug-free respiratory muscle training, or RMT for short. It's designed to help athletes of all levels, elite military professionals, first responders, and people with physically demanding roles like you to gain an elite performance edge. Unlike most other respiratory trainers, Breather Fit trains both inspiratory and expiratory muscles. The independent dial system allows you to create highly targeted training protocols as well. With over 2 million units sold, Breather Fit is the next evolution in RMT. It was developed from the success of the Breather Health device. It has also been used in clinical applications to help chronic respiratory illness and help patients regain function and quality of life. Simply put, the RMT protocol designed to work with Breather Fit means working out more effectively and accelerated recovery from your workout. With Breather Fit, all it takes is 10 breaths for 2 sets, twice a day, 6 days a week. You can also record your performance to get useful and timely feedback with the Breather Coach app. Breather Fit is your secret weapon to maximize performance and meet your personal best. With Breather Fit, you work hard, but breathe easy. Use my code FITBREATHE at checkout to get 20% off at pnmedical.com/product/breather-fit. The link will be in my show notes. Welcome back to the podcast. I appreciate you for taking time out of your day to listen to this podcast, and I hope your day is going well. Jumping right into this week's article, it is titled, "Steep Physical Decline Isn't Inevitable. This Type of Exercise Can Change the Trajectory of Aging," one expert says. That's a long title. But I have this article from fortune.com, which will be in the description as well, so you can read it yourself and investigate more. But this article is written by Zachary Gillen from The Conversation. It is dated October 14th, 2023. So let's hop right into it. And just like always, I will give my 2 cents in on how this relates to me, how this relates to you, and how we both can take advantage of it. Raise your hand if you regularly find yourself walking up a flight of stairs. What about carrying heavy bags of groceries? How about picking up your child or grandchild? Most of us would raise our hands to doing at least one of those weekly or even daily. As people age, it can become more and more difficult to perform some physical tasks, even those that are normal activities of daily living. However, prioritizing physical fitness and health as you get older can help you go through your normal day-to-day routine without feeling physically exhausted at the end of the day. It can also help you continue to have special memories with your family and loved ones that you may not have been able to if you weren't physically active. Staying physically active as you get older doesn't need to include running a half marathon or trying to be a bodybuilder. It could be as simple as trying to get through the day without feeling winded after you go up a flight of stairs. Although our muscles naturally get weaker as we age, there are ways we can combat that to help improve quality of life as we get older. And this article speaks to me as a 42-year-old man living in Peoria, Illinois. There are times when I flash back to when I was 16 in high school, class of 2000, Peoria High. But I switched schools every 2 years, and every school had recess at that time, up until you get to high school. And just the amount of physical activity that I did, back then, not really thinking how beneficial it was. But we were just so used to, going outside and just being active, playing around with friends. And, as you get older, you go to high school and you're somewhat physically active, but recess is cut out. It's all school. It's all school. It's all school. So with that being said, you have to start finding physical activity. Some people go and try out for sports, which is great for kids to be active, because it builds a foundation of some type of physical activity, because you're going to need it once you get older and you get out of high school and you start to graduate and then you begin your college journey. And if you are blessed enough to still play sports, you play sports in high school, in college, or you do it from a collegiate level or recreational. I was never involved in any of sports activities until maybe my senior year in high school when I did intramural basketball, and that was fun. I tried out for the football team my senior year and I quit because I was being fake. I was just trying to do something my last year in high school. It's my senior year. I got to do something. I got to go out with a bang. Not really. I remember I was lifting weights in the weight room and I'm like, I'm not coming back to this. It was because I'm like, well, how can I help this team if I have zero experience at this from the previous 3 years? Now, maybe I could have learned, maybe. But at the time, that's just where my brain was at that time. Going back to the article, muscle loss and chronic disease. One of the most important parts of exercise programming, no matter who I am working with, is proper resistance training to build muscle strength. Some amount of age-related loss of muscle function is normal and inevitable, but by incorporating resistance training that is appropriate and safe at any ability level, you can slow down the rate of decline and even prevent some loss of muscle function. The medical term for a condition that involves age-related loss of muscle function and mass is sarcopenia. Are you looking for a personal trainer that will focus on you to help achieve success in your fitness journey? If yes, please book your in-person or Zoom one-on-one personal training sessions with me, Christian Evans, at christiansweightsuccess.net. Healthy individuals with sarcopenia had issues delivering vital nutrients to muscle. This could lead to a greater likelihood of various diseases such as type 2 diabetes and slow down recovery from exercise. Recent estimates suggest that sarcopenia affects 10% to 16% of the elderly population worldwide. But even if a person doesn't have clinically diagnosed sarcopenia, they may still have some of the underlying symptoms that, if not dealt with, could lead to sarcopenia. That article gives more of a context into what I do and why I do and how it personally applies and professionally applies. At 42, things don't work like how they used to. That doesn't mean it's bad, and that doesn't mean it's all good. I'm always in a state of discovery when it comes to my body and how it works and how to best optimize it for certain situations. And I found that through working out, from a mental aspect to the physical. And this is one of the reasons, I can't say one of the reasons why I became a personal trainer, because as you know my story, and if you don't know, you have to visit my blog, christiansweightsuccess.net. And the story of Natalie and Jenny is why I became a personal trainer. But it's one of those things that I've learned. I've learned that strength training is also important. And with strength training comes this discovery of how certain muscles work, how certain body parts work, how certain functional activities are either strengthened or weakened by increased or lack of physical activity or strength training. This constant state of discovery. And this goes to when I'm saying not all things that are not the way they used to be is good or bad. It's this constant discovery, and it's just very interesting. Again, at age 42, I'm learning how to strengthen my left side. My right side has been the strongest for years. I never knew why, and I still don't know why right now on why that is. But what I do know is there are exercises that I can do to strengthen my left side. And as a personal trainer, I articulate this to my clients because my clientele is predominantly 35 and up, 40 and up, and they're discovering new things about their body, and they want it to work most optimal because we all know time stops for nobody. Time stops for nobody. But how can we slow time down when it comes to our bodies becoming weaker? Back to the article. Strength training is key. So the question is, what can be done to reverse this decline? Recent evidence suggests that one of the key factors leading to sarcopenia is low muscle strength. In other words, combating or reversing sarcopenia or both may be best done with a proper resistance training program that prioritizes improving strength. In fact, the decline in muscle strength seems to occur at a much faster rate than the decline in muscle size, underscoring the importance of proper strength training as people age. Continuing to regularly strength train with moderate to heavy weights has been shown to not only be effective at combating the symptoms of sarcopenia, but also very safe when done properly. The best way to make sure you are strength training properly is to seek out the guidance from a qualified individual, such as a personal trainer. Hint, hint, christiansweightsuccess.net, or strength and conditioning specialist. Despite the clear benefit of strength training, it's been shown that only about 13% of Americans under age 50 and older do some form of strength training at least twice a week. What? I feel like Little John when he says, what? Only about 13% of Americans age 50 and older do some form of strength training at least twice a week. I wonder if it's at least one. Man, that is a stat for you. That is a real stat for you. And, it really is telling in regards to where our country is at in America. I'm not getting ready to go on a political rant. I'm not getting ready to go on a ageism rant or anything like that. It's just looking at that statistic and just saying, wow. Just saying wow. And the 87%, I wonder what they do or not do in regards to fitness. I don't know. My brain is kind of rambling at this point right now, because when you look at that small amount and you just think about just getting strong, and I would entertain this aspect on why the possibilities of why that is one of many. Nothing is confirmed. This is just off the top of my head that I've been thinking about for about a week or so. And I had a conversation with my client earlier this week. It's about weight loss. Is when it comes to fitness and working out, it seems as though the narrative is only correlated when it comes to weight loss and not strength training, and not the benefits of the strength training, or versus it solely being weight loss as the goal. Weight loss can be a goal, and weight loss can be the goal. But throughout the past weeks, I'm trying to get better at looking at the and versus the or. Addition is great. And so you can lose weight, and you can also get strong too. And by getting strong, you can also slow down sarcopenia, and you can also be able to go up a flight of stairs with groceries without being totally debilitated. And so I personally am working on trying to steer the ship of fitness to not only solely be weight loss as the goal, but increasing your strength is so important, and it's so vital to the quality of life as we age. Let's get back to the article. Finding what works for you. So how does a person properly strength train as they age? Good question. The National Strength and Conditioning Association, a leading organization in advancing strength and conditioning around the world, states that for older adults, 2 to 3 days per week of strength training can be incredibly helpful for maintaining healthy muscle and bone and combating a number of chronic conditions. The organization recommends that these workouts involve 1 to 2 exercises involving multiple joints per major muscle group with 6 to 12 repetitions per set. High reps only. You know I love high reps. These are done at an intensity of 50 to 85% of what's known as 1 rep max, the most weight you could handle for a single repetition, with the exception of body weight exercises that uses one's own body weight as the resistance, such as push-ups. I would also recommend resting for about 2 to 3 minutes between sets, or even up to 5 minutes if the set was challenging. For older adults, particularly those age 60 and older, the National Strength and Conditioning Association guidelines suggest that a program like this to be performed 2 to 3 days per week with 24 to 48 hours between sessions. Strength training is so important, and you do have to find out what works for you, what time of the day, your availability, and also, let's say, finances when it comes to seeking out help. There are a lot of free tutorials, workouts that you can find on YouTube or the internet by a Google search. But, when you get older, who has time to, let's say, try to do it on your own, which you can, but you're going to need some type of help or some type of instructions by an instructor. And that's where I come in. ChristiansWeightSuccess.net. If you are in the Peoria, Illinois area and looking for a one-on-one personal trainer that can help you in this goal of, let's say, reversing aging, then you can look at the service options that I provide. I also provide Zoom workouts just as well. And I have sessions starting at 1 session per week. But according to this article, 2 to 3 sessions is best recommended. But you know what? I've been jonesing for pizza lately, but I'm trying to get better at eating better, not eating out so much, and subscribing to the we got food at home mentality. So I chose to cook what I bought from Sam's. Salmon prices have been so high, but Sam's had it $5 off today. Last week, I found a bag of quinoa there for about $8. Since my vegetable supply of meal prep is running low, I also picked up some fresh broccoli. By the time I realized it, I had cooked everything in my e-cookbook, What to Meal Prep for Beginners. Not only will you get 3 recipes for 1 high-protein meal under 600 calories, you'll also get a free workout ebook. Get 10% off when you sign up to my weekly newsletter. The link will be in the description and the link tree in my bio. Download your copy today. In order to, let's say, execute these exercises, you got to know what you're doing. And there are a lot of people that don't know what they're doing. I see it every day in the gym, but at least they're there. They're trying. And that's what's most important. Trying to stay away from this overly judgmental fitness society is honestly going to, let's say, decrease that number of 13% of Americans to, it can probably decrease it by, let's say, 10% of Americans over, the age of 50 engage in some type of strength training, because this narrative as if you only have to lose weight and strength training has nothing to do with it when it has everything to do with it. I did a podcast a few weeks ago about strength training and how it is associated with weight loss. But with that being said, when I am working out with my clientele, I love high reps. I love HIIT, high intensity interval training, not only for myself, but for them as well. That way they can get in multiple exercises in a 45-minute session, and they keep the intensity up, and we adjust the weights, but we increase the weights just as well too. #more weight. And this is how you become stronger and reverse this aging process. Back to the article. Making life tasks lighter. The guidance above are only one example of how many options you have, but they provide a framework that you can use to build your own program. However, I would highly recommend seeking out a professional in the field to give specific exercise programming advice that can be tailored to your own needs and goals as you age. ChristiansWeightSuccess.net. Following such a program would give your muscles an excellent stimulus to enhance strength while also allowing enough recovery, a very important consideration as people age. You might think it looks like a huge time commitment, but an exercise routine like this can be done in less than an hour. ChristiansWeightSuccess.net. 45-minute sessions. This means that in less than 3 hours of strength training per week, you can improve your muscle health and reduce the risk of getting sarcopenia and associated health issues. It's also important to note that there is no right way to do resistance training, which is very, very, very true to an extent. And it not need involve traditional weight equipment. Group classes like Pilates or yoga, or those that involve circuit training and work with resistant bands, can all produce similar results. The key is to get out and exercise regularly, whatever that entails. And that concludes today's article, and I will have this in the description as well, so you can go read it for yourself. I started reading this article because I'm trying to get more relatable information to those who listen to this podcast. I have a podcast demographic that predominantly represents the current paying clientele that I have, and it's primarily those of age, and we're aging, and we realize we're not that young and we're not that old either. We're right in that spot to where life is lifing right now, and there's different things that we are in discovery of when it comes to our body. We're getting more in tune with our health. We're getting more in tune with just life and the demands of it, and the demands of life to live in this world, to live in this country, demands physical activity. It demands to be at your peak. It demands optimal performance in order to survive. In order to survive in this world, you have to be strong in a lot of areas of your life. You have to be strong mentally. You have to be strong physically. You have to be strong spiritually. You have to be strong financially. You have to be strong ethically. You have to be strong morally. And through the physical part, through the financial part, through the mental part, this all plays a part in your quality of life. And I can say by my personal testimony, strength training has helped me in more ways than I thought it would. Going from somebody who would lift weights at the YMCA with my cousin when we were younger, just looking at equipment and just messing around with it, not knowing anything at a young age, not having access because it wasn't available. The invention wasn't there, to Google, YouTube, where else, where everything's at your fingertips. I was reading magazines and going into the gym and trying to execute whatever the said bodybuilder of the month or highlighted person as far as routine. This is something that I learned when I started becoming more mature in my life, in the gym. And it was just trying to move weight. Young man, just trying to lift heavy, and whatever heavy was. At one point in time, 25 pounds was heavy to me, But with that being said, it's been a journey. But now that I'm 42, I see the importance of a great foundation. And some people have just started their fitness journey, and that's okay. This as well. There's so much to learn. And one of the keystones, cornerstones, foundations to what I tell my clients and what I actually believe in is this last sentence in this article. The key is to get out and exercise regularly, whatever that entails. It's just starting. You know, as we get older, the ability to start has its challenges. And the quicker you start something, the better off you can be, the better off you will be. And the reason why I'm hesitant on that, because words are powerful and you have to take things into context and you give it a little bit more color other than this either or type of situation. And like I said, I'm trying to live more in the and in the addition. So bringing color can bring hues, can bring brightness other than just this dark spot or this white spot, this black or this white, this either or. And just starting is very important. And when you start, you think that you have to do everything the right way. And I will say there is some truth to that, but the right way to begin with is just to begin. That is starting off the right way. When it comes to exercise, I totally believe in variations. When it comes to exercise routines, workouts, the way you lift, the way you strength train, and all of that, in my personal opinion and in my personal experience, other than opinion, let's take my personal experience over opinion. My personal experience has shown me to be open to variations. And this openness to variations and exercises creates a more palatable exercise environment. It creates a more enjoyable exercise environment. It creates this environment to where I want to exercise again the next day or work out the next day and strength train the next day because I'm constantly pushing my body, but not pushing it beyond the brink of recovery. But how would you know if you are at the brink of no recovery unless you just push yourself there, right? And we have to start pushing ourselves to become stronger, to become greater. And that happens by just starting. And that happens by actually reaching out for help. There has been times to where I want to do so many things on my own by myself, but I realize I need help. I need help in a lot of just different areas in my life. And I have to be open to that. Now, pride can cause me to be more hesitant in that, which I'm working on that. You know, everything's not perfect, right? I'm working on that. And if you are somebody who has a hard time reaching out for help, just know that I'm just one click away. I'm one click away from so many free resources. I am a personal trainer. I love one-on-one personal training. I love to see my clients excel. And I love to see them excel at their pace and what's comfortable for them. But I'm also going to push them. I'm also going to push you. I'm also going to customize what it is that you're looking for. There is no cookie cutter workout routine when it comes to me. If you have 2 days per week that you can be available for just a 45-minute workout, no matter if it's in person or Zoom. I am currently taking clients via christiansweightsuccess.net. Once you go there, you can see the service options that I provide. And as a perk for my in-person clientele, you will have access to my meal prep menu, as well as my meal prep services, day one meal services, because it is also tough to keep up with life, working out, family, and meal prepping. Who wants to go grocery shopping? Who wants to cook? Who wants to clean up after they cook? I do. I will do all that for you, but you have to be a client. You have to be a one-on-one in-person client to have those services offered. In addition to the services that I do offer via remote, like I said, Zoom, and also workout programs. I can also write you a workout program customized to your equipment that you have available. So strength training as we age is so important. It's so important. Let's not only think of weight loss as a reason to work out or exercise. Think about strength training. Think about your quality of life as you age. Think about the quality of life from a functional aspect. Are you tired at the end of the day? Are you exhausted by just getting out of your car and walking to your front door? This can be because you just aren't strong enough. And who wants to live in this world where you're not strong? If it's not making you stronger, simply chant, more weight, more weight, more weight. Peace out.